Hello, everybody, wherever in the world you are. This is an introductory seminar as to how you can set up a hotline in your country. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the seminar. So first of all, we're going to talk about the first steps to creating a hotline. And I am the head of partnerships and global expansion here at INHOPE, which means I look after setting up hotlines in different countries where we don't yet have a hotline in place. So let's start with an introduction. Why are we here? So we believe that citizens should know what to report, why to report, where to report, and hopefully get a response to their report when they report online child sexual abuse material that they come across on the internet. We want to raise awareness of the fact that this terrible crime has happened and how the public can and are part of the solution. By enabling the public to be part of the solution and having the possibility to report to a hotline in their country, the content can be removed from wherever it is in the world, wherever it's reported in the world, and wherever it is hosted in the world. And by doing this, we prevent revictimization, we save police time, all the while raising awareness among stakeholders and digital citizens within the country. Why are you here? So you're here to learn more about hotlines, about INHOPE, maybe to find out how to set up a hotline, or maybe to understand how your country can really take part as an international player in fighting online child sexual abuse material. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the hotlines now, and I'd just like to make a very clear distinction between a hotline and a helpline. The terminology can be quite difficult, especially when translated into different languages. But when we're talking about hotlines, we're talking about a place that the public can report online child sexual abuse material that they come across online. So that is images or videos of this material. A helpline is a place that the public can report to by telephone when they have a problem in their lives, or if they know somebody who is possibly having a challenge with cyberbullying or online child sexual abuse material themselves, or maybe being extorted sexually. So I just wanted to make that distinction before we start. So INHOPE was established in 1999 with 9 hotlines, and today we have 52 in 49 jurisdictions. We have one mission, which is to ensure an internet free of online child sexual abuse material. One of the most important technologies that INHOPE uses is CSAM, which stands for I See Child Abuse Material. If you are a member of the public reporting online child sexual abuse material in France, for example, that content, once it's been confirmed as child sexual abuse material by the French hotline, it will go to ICCAM, which is hosted at Interpol. And if they confirm that the content has not been previously seen, it will go into ICSA, the International Child Sexual Exploitation Database, for investigation. And if it has been seen before, then it will go to country B, where country A will have worked out that it is hosted. They will have traced the hosting to country B, for example, Germany. And then the German hotline will work with their internet service providers for the removal of that content. There's obviously a lot more that we could talk about here. And as with many parts of this presentation, if you're interested to learn more about how the details of the removal process works and the notice and takedown process, then please do get in touch with us. So I mentioned the ICSA, the International Child Sexual Exploitation Database, just now, and it is fed by a number of different organizations and stakeholders, such as INHOPE, as I mentioned, as well as police, national police, regional police, and other NGOs and national units, cybercrime units. So all of them feed into Interpol's child sexual exploitation database in the hope that those children in those videos and images can be identified. So we at INHOPE do believe that everybody, as I said at the beginning, should have their own hotline. It enables a sense of country ownership and country leadership. And when we work with a country to put a hotline in place, it is usually with an already established NGO or a regulatory authority in the country. And what this means is that they can take a lead in developing a national child online protection task force, if there isn't already one in place, also working on legislation within the country to make sure it's appropriate to protect children online and also to protect victims after they've been rescued. As I mentioned, by having a national hotline in your country, you're part of a stronger global response against child sexual abuse and exploitation material and cybercrime. By having a hotline in your country, you're also ensuring that stakeholder responsibility is taken. As I mentioned, when we go into a country, we want to raise awareness at the same time as preventing revictimization and saving police time. The way that we save police time is because we want the police to be able to get on with the investigations and not spend time triaging, making sure that that material is child sexual abuse material. There is about 70% of the reports that are received by hotlines are actually not child sexual abuse material. So we want to make sure that the police only get that 30% that they actually need to investigate. INHOPE supports in every way possible the development of a hotline in a country. And then after the hotline is developed, we also support all organizations and regulatory authorities and whichever entity has set up a hotline to make sure that they can follow everything that we offer at INHOPE, from support and promotion of your hotline to training, ongoing training. We have peer-to-peer visits and bursary. We have a bursary program where hotlines can visit each other, where analysts can visit each other. We have ongoing online and in-person trainings in different parts of the world for the 250 INHOPE analysts. And we also, as I mentioned, offer software solutions such as ICCAM and ReportBox. And many of our hotlines also develop their own technologies, and they are willing and eager to share them with other hotlines, such as the Take It Down initiative or the Report Remove initiative by the US and UK hotlines, which are initiatives that mean that if you are a young person who is aware that their content of them, either nudes of you or videos or images that you've shared with somebody who was once a partner who's now putting it on the internet, we can help you make sure that you can remove that content by putting you in touch with the right people. And we also support you with communications efforts to make sure that everybody in your country knows that there is a hotline where they can report online child sexual abuse material. Because as I said at the beginning, there is absolutely no point in having a hotline if the public and digital citizens do not know what to report, why to report, how to report. So we want to raise awareness about this, and we make sure that you have best practices, resources, and campaign support to do this. So let's just talk about the hotline creation timeline. So INHOPE has created a way in which we work with different countries. We ask of ourselves certain obligations to support you in setting up a hotline. And then we also ask the organization or regulatory body, whoever it is that is going to be setting up the hotline, that they also commit to certain aspects of the work. We don't want to come to a country and set up the hotline ourselves. We support an organization or an entity in working themselves to make sure, as I said, that the country takes a leadership and a position of ownership in their own response, a local and national response to fighting online child sexual abuse material, which will ultimately, as we said, be part of a global system that fights online child sexual abuse material. So as you see on the different sides here, we have different ways in which we ask you to work together with us, and we make sure that we have regular meetings to put in place how you will work with your police, with your other stakeholders such as the industry and government. And then we also say what we will commit to in terms of how we will support you. And as I said, we will handhold and we will support you every step of the way up until you apply for INHOPE membership, which takes about 2 years, but also after you become an INHOPE member. And as I expressed on the previous slide, there are lots of ways in which we support you in an ongoing way. So the different aspects of this, as I mentioned, it can take up to about 2 years. And the different aspects of this are that we will support you with communications guidance. We make sure that we visit your hotline. We make sure that you are able to attend our training meetings, both online and in person. And one of the first things that we do is work with you to ensure that your police, which is often the Ministry of the Interior or Ministry of Home Affairs, have an understanding of the work that you're going to be doing. We don't want the police in your country to think for any moment that we are trying to take the work of the police. We want to support the work of the police, and that's what the hotline wants to do in the country. As I said, saving police time. If they come across images that are previously unseen, or even images that have been seen but they know are part of an ongoing case, then there are ways in which the hotline can actually support the police, alerting them to new images or new videos. And INHOPE also has some technology that's being developed at the moment, whereby police, national police, are going to be able to have their own portal into ICSAM, our secure technology platform, to be able to identify victims in their own countries. So let's just talk a little bit about the membership requirements for joining INHOPE. I've talked a little bit about the relationship that hotlines, as they're established, need to have with police. So a memorandum of understanding with your police as you set up a hotline is absolutely crucial. And without it, we are hesitant and highly unlikely to continue establishing a hotline with you. That is to say that we will work with you to make sure that you have the support and understanding from the police to do the work that you need to do. And it will be hand in hand with the police. We ask that there are letters of support from stakeholders, which include government and industry, because without the support of government, it will be very difficult to put a lot of your measures in place. And without support from industry, you cannot do the work that you need to do. If you are in a country that has high hosting, or even if you're in a country that doesn't have high hosting but has some hosting of child sexual abuse material, then you need to be able to have a good constant connection with the internet industry players in your country, especially those that have most of the monopoly in your country. So if the reports are received by a hotline and then they need to remove that content and it's hosted within your country, then you need to be able to have a very fast and good connection with the internet service provider to make sure that you can remove that content as soon as possible. And one of the things that we do at the outset of setting up a hotline with you, when we have that first round table to establish what the work of the hotline will be, we make sure that industry attends that. And then we have an ongoing relationship with them, and you will also have an ongoing relationship with them so that they are there and easily contactable when you need to alert them to remove that content through the system called Notice and Takedown. Of course, for reporting content, you also need a web reporting form in place. A web reporting form is a very simple form on your website where you will put the URL, where the public puts the URL, www. Of the content that they have seen. And then there is also sometimes different hotlines choose different boxes, but there's some very basic information such as the URL and maybe more information about the content if you want to give that, or if you know what kind of platform it was hosted on. And that needs to be in place for you to establish a hotline. But again, we work with you to make sure that you do that correctly. And then, of course, there's an application form. As a membership organization, we have 6 of our INHOPE hotline members who make up our board. And our board and the membership needs to approve your application to become a member of INHOPE. And so what that means is a very detailed application form that you fill out to explain everything about how your hotline is going to work. Obviously, we and my team, the network expansion team, will have worked closely with you on making sure that that is correctly filled out and that you meet all of those criteria. So in closing out this short presentation, I do hope that you have understood to a certain extent how you can set up a hotline. Here at INHOPE, we're very happy to, as I said, guide you and help you in establishing a hotline, whether that's the correct approach for your organization or maybe another organization in your country. We're happy to work with NGOs, with regulatory authorities, and different stakeholders in your country to ensure that you and every country actually has a national, local and international response to online child sexual abuse material. As it says here, it does take a village to raise a child. And of course, this is the case. But today, it also takes the whole world to protect that child. So we want to join with you in protecting children today around the world. We hope you'll consider setting up an INHOPE hotline in your country. Thank you for listening.